I'm very aware of the fact that I might be about to film my own demise. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna have a reading vlog of me reading A Little Life, which is by Hanya. I'm not going to try and pronounce that last name. I'm going to just hold it up until I can do research on how to say it properly. Every video that I have seen of this online just has people sobbing, and it's my friend's copy that I'm borrowing, and he said that it's pretty sad. And like every time you think it can't get worse, it just gets worse. So yeah, we're gonna see how it goes. Stay tuned to go on this roller coaster ride with me. I love how I've been reading for like an hour and a bit and it looks like I've read nothing because this book is so thick. It's pretty good so far. It took me a little while to get like all the characters sorted in my head, but I think I've got them all placed so far. I like how I said not much was happening when I was 70 pages in, and then I just read another chapter and I almost started tearing up. What is happening? I'm not even 100 pages in yet. There's some serious foreshadowing going on and I'm not happy about it. Willem and Jude are my favorite though. I really love them, and JB pisses me off, and I have not developed an opinion about Malcolm yet. But we'll see. There's still another over 600 pages to go, so I'm just scared. I'm so scared. I have no idea what's gonna happen. Okay, I've distracted myself from the beanbag chair I've been living in all day. I'm 200 pages in, I think, and I realized the book's actually like 800 pages long, and I thought it was 700. So it's about a quarter of the way through, and I just want to lay on the floor and listen to Hey Jude and pretend that nothing's bad's gonna happen. But I already know. Like, I know some of the bad stuff, and I know it's gonna get worse, so we'll see how tomorrow goes. So it is Tuesday, and my second day of reading A Little Life. I'm 240 pages in. I think I just reached the third part, and I think I keep saying this at every video, the fear. I'm so, like, happy for the characters right now, and everything is going so well, but I don't know how long it's gonna last, and I'm like, can I just stop reading here? Can I just think that there's a happily ever after and live with that instead? I don't know. We're gonna find out. I do have some grocery shopping to do today, and then some plans with friends later, but I have the feeling I'm gonna be trying to cram as much reading into any window that I can possibly find. So I'm gonna give y'all a reading because I have some thoughts and I need to ground it in the novel in some way. Lately he'd been wondering if codependence was such a bad thing. He took pleasure in his friendships, and it didn't hurt anyone, so who cared if he was codependent or not? And anyway, how was a friendship any more codependent than a relationship? Why was it admirable when you were 27 but creepy when you were 37? Why wasn't friendship as good as a relationship? Why wasn't it even better? It was two people who remained together, day after day, bound not by sex or physical attraction or money or children or property, but only by the shared agreement to keep going, the mutual dedication to a union that could never be codified. Friendship was witnessing another slow drip of miseries and long bouts of boredom and occasional triumphs. It was feeling honored by the privilege of getting to be present for another person's most dismal moments, and knowing that you could be dismal around him in return. Like, oof. If there's one thing that I'm loving about this book, I'm loving the way that it is not having any of this aim out of normative bullshit. It's like, no, friendships are valid, friendships count, and why shouldn't they? Especially as the characters progress to this age where everyone's like, okay, are you getting married? Like, what's going on? You need to settle down. And they're like, why do I need to settle down if I have what I need in the people who are around me? I love that. As someone who's like, friendships are so important to me, I like am terrified that all my friends, okay, well I know they're not going to, but it's like this weird fear in the back of my head that they're all gonna settle down and get married one day and just leave. So the fact that this book is like, fuck that. Like, why don't we treat friendships the same as relationships, and looking at the ways that society doesn't always value them and give them the same rights? Stellar. Absolutely stellar. I'm still obsessed with Jude and Willem, and I love them so dearly. I don't know how I feel about JB, but I think we're gonna get a little bit more about him, so I'm gonna cut him some slack for now. The only other thing I'm finding so far is the time jumps. They're not always like clear because it mostly is like communicated through later on. They'll be like, oh, well, you're this old now. So that can be a little bit fuzzy to try and follow sometimes, but I think it's also trying to showcase the fluidity of those friendships. We'll see. I got a cup of tea. Gonna do a little more reading. Maybe copy out these quotes because this is not my copy of the book so that I have them somewhere. And we'll see. I'm like 300 pages in, which is wild to consider that that's not even halfway yet. So there's still so much time for things to go wrong. Or right. But I feel like they're gonna start going wrong soon. Okay, I had to go outside to do my rounds for work and I just stopped because I was practically like sprinting because I'm so angry about what's happening in the book right now. I just need to take a break because like my heart rate is through the roof. So that's where we're at. I want to murder someone, but it's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. I'm gonna go back and panic read. So that's where we're at today. So my friend that I borrowed the book from came home and I ended up talking to him a lot and not getting as much reading as I thought I was gonna get done tonight, but that's okay. Because honestly, I think I needed a break. It's heavy. I'm not gonna lie, and I'm surprised I haven't cried yet, but I might cry while filming this video because I can kind of feel the tears. I'm gonna try and keep this as spoiler free as possible. There's an abusive relationship, and it's emotionally abusive while physically abusive. And I had someone in my life that I was involved with in the past who wasn't the greatest to me. And it's really hard reading this book to realize that I've gotten to a place where I can feel that empathy and that anger for this character who's struggling that I wasn't able to feel for myself, and that I still struggle to feel for myself sometimes, and that's hard. And scary. Jude in particular in this book, I see so much of myself in, not in some of the really drastic and terrible ways that Jude has gone through trauma, but in the ways that he doesn't feel worthy of the things around him. God, like some of the things that he says and the way that he looks at the world, if they aren't feelings that I felt now, they're feelings that I know that I felt in the past. And so to have this relationship, I understand the ways that people like that change your life, and they can ruin it in a lot of ways because it's so difficult to undo the things that they enforced in you that you already believed about yourself, and to be able to hear the voices of the people that you love, and that's a lot. So yeah, whew. I think we're gonna leave it there. It's definitely, I'm getting to the weighty parts of the book, but I'm still gripped by it. I'm still being dragged through the book at an incredible rate because I just care so much for these characters. I'm going car shopping tomorrow morning, and I'm probably not going to be back till pretty late in the afternoon, and I'll probably be pretty exhausted because I gotta get up early to go, so I'm hoping that I'll have enough energy to get some more reading done tomorrow, because I want to know. I want to know that they're going to be okay, but I don't know if they will be, and that scares me. And I'm also concerned about what the lesson will be if they're not, but we'll see. We'll see when we get there. But yes, I will be forced to take like at least a 6-hour reading break for the early hours of tomorrow. So wish me luck, and maybe I'll have a car by the end of the day tomorrow. Good night. Well, I guess not good night. Whenever you're watching this, good whatever time of the day it is to you. So I just bought my first car, which is super exciting. I'm gonna move away from the microwave so that the noise doesn't get in the video. But yeah, I get to go and pick it up next week. I just called the insurance and the guy was so nice. He was telling me all about his first car. Oh, my food's done. So that was cool, but I'm very hungry, I'm very tired. So I'm gonna eat some food. This is too much adulting for me today. And try and read, but I might need a nap before I'm able to comprehend any of the complicated life lessons that a little life is gonna throw at me. So it's snowing outside here despite the fact that it is May tomorrow, but just another excuse to curl up inside and read all day. I've been stressed lately just because I'm organizing all this stuff with getting my car, and I'm starting a new job on Monday, and I'm supposed to be moving sometime in the next 2 weeks, so I have to get that all organized. So as much as it seems weird with how difficult this book can be at times, it's actually been like a really welcome reprieve just to go and live in this other world with these characters. Yeah, I read like 200 pages yesterday and I've read like another 50 this morning, so I feel like I should have more to tell you about it, but like between not wanting to have spoilers and not like wanting to expunge all my inner demons on you, I don't really know what to say. The characters just feel so vivid and alive to me. I was talking about that with my friend whose book it is, and it's so nice to have someone who read it that I get to talk to about it. So, I know I'm gonna be so sad when it's done, but I'm also so scared because I don't know what else is gonna happen, and I want the characters to be able to live their best life, you know? Like I was saying yesterday, I was like, I want to put him in a box and just protect him forever. And then I realized how unrealistic that was because I don't want him to like not live. I want him to like be able to be happy and experience life and to realize that he's worth it. Huh. I just love Jude so much. And Willem frustrates me, but I understand where he's coming from because I've been both Jude and Willem. So it's a lot. We'll see where it goes from here. I'm hoping to finish it today. Fingers crossed. We'll see. Hello, it's been 2 days now since I finished A Little Life. I needed some time to process my emotions. I have thoughts. So the book was really good. I did have some concerns, mainly just with the portrayal of sex. One of the characters feels that another character, by not having sex, they're like missing out on this great pleasurable experience that's been torn from them. And as someone who's asexual, I was kind of like, okay, but like not everyone feels that way. Just because you feel one way doesn't mean that that's the way that everyone feels, and that was a little bit frustrating in some ways, but I did like that they finally came to discuss it and find a way that worked for their relationship where everyone was comfortable. However, I went and watched Kat and Noelle Gallagher's reactions to this book, and yeah, I think Noelle Gallagher explains it best because this book is like pushed on people a lot on the internet and it's heavy. Now, I will accept full responsibility for reading it with the understanding that there was triggering content in it for me. That's my responsibility. I could have asked my friend for that information and I'm sure he would have told me, but I thought I was in a good enough headspace to read it. And then, based off the last 2 days, I guess the answer is no. Also, this book is just incredibly in-depth and graphic with some of its depictions. So there was a lot of stuff in it that really hit home in a way that I couldn't escape from and was really difficult to try and handle. Some people have called it trauma porn. I struggle with that. I struggled with the ending of this book, but I'm not going to say what it was because I'm trying to keep this video spoiler free, but I think we need honest depictions of trauma, because for some people, reading about the plethora of subject matter that is covered in this book can be a cathartic experience, or it can help them feel less alone, or to be able to begin to process some of what has happened to them. But I also recognize that for other people, that's just reopening old wounds and exposing them to triggers that aren't healthy. So the fact that I haven't seen a good, like, trigger warning list for this book, I'm gonna try and in the description below include as much as I can. Obviously that will include spoilers, so if you don't want to know, don't go and look at it, but I'm interested to see if I can find something online, because I do think that when we're recommending books to people, like Noelle Gallagher talks about, we have to keep in mind that not everyone is going to be able to read every book, and the emotional exhaustion that comes with reading this book, and the vulnerability and pain that can come from some of the putting yourself almost at risk in some ways in order to get through the heavy content matter of this book is hard. I loved it. I loved the writing, but I'm so torn about the ending and some of the complicated feelings I have about how painful it was to read, and whether, for me, I haven't processed whether that was a healing thing or a harming thing. So I don't know. I would say, I feel like I've seen people, when I was reading through the comments on Noelle Gallagher's thing, people were saying that it's their favorite book of all time, but they will also not let anyone else read it. And that's kind of how I feel. Like, I don't feel like I could ever, in good conscience, recommend this to someone unless I knew the person very well. But even then, like, I don't... The, like, pain and turmoil that happens in this book, I don't know if I could, like, in good conscience, want someone else to read that, even with the beauty of the writing and the things within the book that resonated with me. So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that there. I did still love the book. Lots of conflicting thoughts to process and think about. If you have any feedback, ideas, things that you know from reading this book or that you've seen online about it, feel free to drop me a comment down below. I'd love to engage with other people about it, because I've not been able to get this book out of my head ever since I finished it, even considering I have ranted with my friend about it for probably a good 2 hours now. So that's where we're at. Hopefully the next book I read will be a little more uplifting. I think I'm gonna read Shadow and Bone next so that I can watch that Netflix series. And yeah, that's where we're at. Thanks for watching. Sorry this video was kind of a bummer. Until the next one, stay kind.